Hello to everyone. My name is Jose Armando de Ávila. I'm going to present this research about analysis of the use of Colombian exports within the framework of the Colombia-Canada Free Trade Agreement. My group is confirmed by María Isabel Montoya, Laura Tatiana Limas, Jose Armando de Asa, and Nestor Fabian Diaz. We are professors and students at Universidad La Salle in Bogotá. Justification of this research, Colombia has signed a large number of free trade agreements as a strategy to increase the presence of Colombian products around the world and therefore increase its income from exports. In this particular study, the behavior of Colombian exports to Canada is analyzed, which has been the first developed country to have signed this type or kind of agreement with Colombia. However, our country has not evaluated in detail whether this agreement is being taken advantage to diversify the export basket with products with greater added value. Our research objectives are, as a general objective, to analyze the use of Colombian exports within the framework of the Colombia-Canada Free Trade Agreement. As specific objectives, characterize the foreign trade of Colombia and Canada, characterize the tariff reduction program negotiated in the Free Trade Agreement, and identify sectors with the greatest potential for Colombia. Our methodology are composed by two or mixed methods, quantitative and qualitative. In quantitative, you use international trade indexes as a rebuilt comparative advantage, trade intensity index, and trade complementary index. In the qualitative, we use techniques as document review, principal company analysis. About results, we analyze bilateral trade between Colombia and Canada. In this slide, we can highlight two important aspects of bilateral trade between Colombia and Canada. In the first place, the composition of the export basket that we can see in the table is highly concentrated in products with very low added value, such as oil is the first product to export to Canada, and coffee, that is the third rank. And the second place is natural stones that has the same situation, low added value, and these three products joined represent 84% of the total exports to Canada, and products that have a great value added have shares below 5%, as is the case of plastics, clothing, and confectionery, among others. The graph shows that in the period before the agreement come into force, 2005 and 2011, the variation in Colombian exports was on average 11%, while afterwards, between 2012 and 2018, this variation was 8% lower than the variation before entering into force the free trade agreement. So this agreement did not boost its exports as expected, and similar situation occurred with imports made by Colombia. So according with the international trade theory, it's contradictory, because the expectation is increase in an important way, in a very good mood, the export and import in between the countries. Trade intensity index, the indicator of trade intensity between Colombia and Canada shows that the performance of trade is lower than expected since the indicator is below 1. It allows us to infer that there is a wide potential to intensify international trade between the countries because this indicator 1.8 is obtained but just the export of three products. I mean, oil, precious stones, and coffee. So if we can boost the other products that we saw, for example, in the previous table, so we can intensify and get a better result in the intensity trade between our countries. Trade complementary index in this with this index regarding the complementarity, we find that the coincidence in the commercial structure between both countries is low, with only oil, that is the first position, oil as a product in which there is a medium coincidence due to the need of the strong industrial sector for this mineral in Canada. A similar situation, what happens with coffee live plants. With mineral, in this cases, because Canada has not produced live plants or coffee, so in order to satisfy its demand, import from Colombia. But there is the product with more complementary structure match. So the other products, the rest of products that Colombia imports from Canada, but also have a low value of complementarity. So situation with vehicles, with machinery and mechanical appliances, for example, or optical or cinematographic products. There are products that Colombia import from Canada, but the value of the index is so low that is an evidence that our structure match is very weak between countries, and we need to get stronger with diversify of products offered Colombia to Canada. About the negotiation, about the free trade agreements, the composition of the tariff reduction list, we can see in the table that 97% of all the tariff universe in Colombia, I mean, all the products that we have Colombia, 99% of that we don't immediately entered into force. The agreement was eliminated all the tariff customs to enter in Canada. So that is a very good situation. And just 110 products were excluded from this negotiation, and the rest of the products already had 0% duty charge to enter in Canadian territory. So today, currently, we have 98% of the tariff universe of all our products can enter without pay any tax for import in Canada. That is a very good situation. The composition of products in each basket. For basket A, that is the immediately elimination of taxes. We have agro and agro-industry products, minerals, industrial, manufacturing. So there is a good variety of products there. And we can see, for example, in the basket D, we have just one product that is just until 2027 will be with 0% of charges to enter in Canada, but that product is a sugar, and it's a product that is very protected by different countries around the world. But it's just one product or one chapter. So we have many opportunities here, plenty of opportunities to enter in Canada with product without paying any tariff or import tariff in Canadian territory. About the rebuilt comparative advantage. This index makes it possible to identify products or sectors with advantages in order to increase their participation in the Canadian market, or introduce in Canadian market. In this case, we can see 13 sectors have a comparative advantage. Whose value is greater than 0. And you can see, for example, the last one, the number 13, Cork and Articles of Cork, it's very, very, very close of 0. But has a minimum comparative advantage. With light plants, that is the higher position, the higher rank. In this case, we have a very good comparative advantage. And if you remember, currently these kind of products like plants and flowers is just participate with 5% in the total exports to Canada. So we are not taking advantage of this kind of products to increase our presence in Canadian market. Coffee is the second advantage product, but its added value is very low because it's a raw material. This is a similar situation with fuels. So here is a proposition to identify another kind of products that can add value to our offer to Canada. So this is important to know that sectors are identified where Colombia has industry with a strong international presence, such as confectionery, apparel, ceramic products, as well industry where Colombia has important local production and produces international brands here in Colombia, such as perfumes, cosmetics, and personal care. So we have a very good number of sectors that has a very strong production situation here in Colombia, and we can improve and boost that sectors to get a very presence in Canadian market, because and we can see we have a comparative advantage there. Here we did a very simple exercise, but important at the same time exercise about what is happening with the situation of that sectors with more potential. In that case, we took life plants for agricultural products, and we made a projection that what could happen with the participation of this sector in the total exports from Colombia to Canada. We can remember that in 2018, the participation of the sector was 5% and was the fourth sector in that export from Colombia to Canada. And we can notice that is a sector with a high comparative advantage. So if we continue with the with that trend that we carry out, we project with using eViews and RStudio, what could happen with the behavior of that participation of this product in Colombian exports to Canada. And we can obtain that the variation would not be greater than the current right now, reaching a maximum peak of 11.6% in February 2020, with an average participation of 7% in 2020, which is very close to that 5% that the sector currently has in 2018. This shows the failure to take advantage of the free trade agreement to generate higher exports in sectors that have advantages in the Canadian market. Conclusions. Despite the existence of this free trade agreement, we have approximately 98% of the tariff-free universe in Canada. Canada is not a significant partner to Colombia, with just 2% exports of the total Colombian export that is going to that country. So it's very low. The research hypothesis initially raised is rejected because we didn't see a very good or a remarkable behavior of the exports to Canada, and we are very concentrated in few sectors, and we are not taking advantage of products with comparative advantage. And we have many products or sectors that we can boost and we can promote in Canada. For example, cosmetics, perfumes, flowers and foliage, sugar, confectionery, and ceramic products. Future research aligned. Okay, about future studies, we proposed to use this study to with that sectors with comparative advantage, start to study more specifically which kind of products into those sectors can make develop a short time strategy to introduce it into Canadian market, to communicate, for example, to companies in Colombia, to Colombian companies that could be interesting to get a better the performance of its exports to this market or enter as a new market in Canada. And it's possible to replicate the methodology that we used in this research for another free trade agreements. Actually, at university, we are doing this in our research group. Thank you so much. This is what we can to share with you, and thank you for your time.